The OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro are finally official. They share lots of similarities but also have lots of key differences. What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and let's break down all of these key differences with side-by-side camera samples, SuperSaf style, to help you decide which one of these is right for you. This video is brought to you by NordVPN. Use the link in the description for a special offer. So initially, I want to start off with the displays. The OnePlus 9 Pro does have an overall better display. We've got small bezels with a punch out on both devices, but the bezels do seem slightly smaller on the OnePlus 9 Pro because it has more of a curved display versus the flat display, which actually some of you may prefer on the OnePlus 9. And although both are AMOLED displays with a maximum refresh rate of 120 Hz, we do have some key advantages on the OnePlus 9 Pro. Firstly, it is a slightly larger display. It supports a Quad HD Plus resolution, giving you sharper details compared to the Full HD Plus on the OnePlus 9. We've also got a higher maximum peak brightness of 1300 nits versus 1100 nits on the OnePlus 9. And the OnePlus 9 Pro uses LTPO technology, which means it has an adaptive refresh rate. So it can go all the way down to just 1 Hz to save on battery life. We'll be talking about battery life shortly. But generally speaking, the OnePlus 9 Pro does have the overall better display, but that's not to say that the OnePlus 9 has a bad display. It's a very, very good display. Now we've got an optical in-display fingerprint scanner on both devices as well, which works absolutely fine. Very, very fast. Now let's move over on to the build and design. So we've got a very similar design on both devices. We've got this camera module with this curved back, and I do have the glossy finishes here. They are available in some matte finishes as well. These glossy backs, I mean, they look super cool and they are very reflective, but they do attract lots of fingerprints. Now, I'll give it to OnePlus because they do include cases out of the box for both devices, which is nice. But I would definitely opt for one of the matte finishes personally. This is the Morning Mist for the OnePlus 9 Pro, which has this sort of silver color. And then we've got the Winter Mist on the OnePlus 9, which kind of has this two-tone purple color, which I gotta say does look pretty good. Now the OnePlus 9 Pro does have an official IP68 water and dust resistance rating. The OnePlus 9 does not. However, OnePlus have said it is watertight. Now we've seen this from OnePlus before. Getting the official IP68 rating does cost more money, and in order to keep the price down for the OnePlus 9, it doesn't have this, but you're really not going to have an issue if you use this in the rain or anything. The OnePlus 9 is also more compact overall, so it's smaller in size and it also weighs a little bit less. But I gotta say the OnePlus 9 Pro as well is definitely very comfortable to hold and use. It's quite a bit lighter compared to some of the other flagships. I've been using the OnePlus 9 Pro alongside my iPhone 12 Pro Max, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max is very much bigger and heavier, so it was refreshing to use the OnePlus 9 Pro. Now there's a few things to keep in mind. So firstly, we've got Gorilla Glass 5 on these devices, not Gorilla Glass Victus, which is the latest and most durable. And for the OnePlus 9, we've got slightly different versions in different regions. So in India and China, the OnePlus 9 is actually slightly smaller and slightly lighter compared to Europe and North America. Why is that? Well, don't worry, Sherlock Saf was on the case and I did lots of research to find out that the OnePlus 9 in Europe and North America will have G wireless charging. However, in India and China, it will not, making the device slightly smaller and slightly lighter. Why is this? Well, you'll have to ask OnePlus that. I'm assuming it's to keep the price down in India and China. I don't know, but definitely something to keep in mind. Now, while we're on the topic of charging, let's talk about the batteries. So both of these have the exact same size, 4,500 milliamp hour batteries. And battery life has been interesting. So I have primarily been using the OnePlus 9 Pro, which has been good for battery life. I wouldn't say it's excellent, and I definitely have used other devices this year that have better battery life compared to the OnePlus 9 Pro. But my buddy Tom, the tech chap, actually did a battery drain test, and he actually found that the OnePlus 9 gave better battery life compared to the OnePlus 9 Pro, even though both devices were at full HD resolution. So got about an hour extra time, so I'd say around 10 to 15% better battery life on the OnePlus 9. Now, I was expecting the OnePlus 9 Pro, considering that it has an LTPO display, to give overall better battery life, but this is currently the case. I'll leave that video of Tom's linked down below if you do want to go ahead and check it out. Now, when it comes to charging, the good news for both devices is that they do support Warp Charge 65T, which is very, very fast, and this is included out of the box. Thumbs up for that. Now, this will give you a charge from 1 to 100% in just 29 minutes, which is faster compared to the OnePlus 8 Pro, which was around 39 minutes, already very fast. And that's something that I really do like about these OnePlus devices. The OnePlus 9 Pro, I was taking loads of images and videos and I almost killed it, and I just put it on charge for like 20 minutes and boom, it was all the way up to like 80%. Absolutely awesome. I love that this is included out of the box, which isn't the case for many of the devices right now. Now, wireless charging. So as mentioned, the OnePlus 9 does support wireless charging in Europe and North America, not in China and India. Now, where it is supported, it's 15 watts wireless charging, which is pretty decent, but the OnePlus 9 Pro has Warp Charge 50 wireless, which is crazy fast wireless charging. Now, you will need a specific charger to be able to output that much energy. However, if you do get that, you'll be able to go from 1 to 100% in around 43 minutes, which is very impressive for wireless charging. The OnePlus 9 Pro also supports reverse wireless charging, so you'll be able to charge some earbuds or another device wirelessly on the back of the OnePlus 9 Pro. Now, before we move on to the cameras, a quick thanks to our sponsor for this video, NordVPN. Now, I've personally been using NordVPN for 3, maybe 4 years. It's just become my default. It's super easy to use. There's no data logging and there's double data encryption for increased anonymity. Am I saying that right? You know what I mean. And with NordVPN, you'll be able to get access to apps and websites which may not be available in your country. So for example, an app that rhymes with pickpock or tub C, wink, wink. You'll be able to easily route your traffic with a different country, and Bob's your uncle, or Abdul, or Raj, whoever your uncle is, you get the point. Go to nordvpn.org/SuperSaf and use the code SuperSaf to get a 2-year plan plus 1 additional month with a huge discount. And you've got nothing to lose thanks to Nord's 30-day risk-free money-back guarantee. Right, now let's move on to what you've all been waiting for, and that is the cameras. So we have this massive Hasselblad partnership. What does that mean? Well, firstly, we've got an updated camera interface. We've got this big orange button, which makes this very satisfying Hasselblad click sound. I really like that. But more importantly, OnePlus have said that they've been working with Hasselblad to improve their color science, giving more natural colors. And I have to say, I have noticed some improvements in colors. They're not overly saturated. You do get some neutral balanced colors like we do with Hasselblad cameras. But what about the image quality? So firstly, we have an ultra-wide camera that is the same on both devices. This is something that I do like. It actually takes really good images, sharp, with lots of detail and dynamic range. And we've got a freeform lens for the ultra-wide camera, which uses hardware to fix distortion. Other devices use software to prevent distortion. The OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro actually use hardware, which does work very well. And the ultra-wide camera also doubles up as a macro camera. So if you do get close, around 4 centimeters close to a subject, then it will refocus to that and give you some excellent macro shots. This is something that I really liked on the OnePlus 8 Pro, and I'm glad OnePlus has now brought this not only to the 9 Pro, but also to the 9, because the macro camera on the OnePlus 8 was very, very bad. I mean, that 2 megapixel macro camera, oh God, it was not good. Now for the primary cameras, so we actually have a pretty similar sensor size. We've got the same aperture and resolution, but we do have a better sensor on the OnePlus 9 Pro. We also have optical image stabilization on the OnePlus 9 Pro, whereas we've only got electronic image stabilization on the OnePlus 9. Now, when it comes to good lighting, you generally won't be noticing much of a difference. They both take good shots. Where you will notice a difference is when it comes to more tricky situations. So here on this example where I've got the Android in front of the sunlight, you can see that we've got a much sharper image on the OnePlus 9 Pro compared to the OnePlus 9. And also in low light, I'm assuming this is because of the optical image stabilization. The OnePlus 9 Pro just gives you overall brighter images and also keeps more things in focus. Check out this picture of my car in low light. The OnePlus 9 has struggled to keep it in focus, whereas the OnePlus 9 Pro has actually done a good job. And in this extreme low light situation, the OnePlus 9 just would not focus. It just did not have the capability to focus on this very low lit subject, whereas the OnePlus 9 Pro did. Now, when it comes to portraits as well, the OnePlus 9 Pro does do better compared to the OnePlus 9. However, honestly speaking, portraits are not good on either of these. The OnePlus 9 Pro actually does not use the telephoto camera at all for portraits. It just uses the main camera and crops in for the 2x. And results, as you can see, are not too good. You can see the areas around my head have been blurred out. But the OnePlus 9 Pro, because of the better sensor, does do a better job compared to the OnePlus 9. Now, when I emphasize this is just in comparison to the OnePlus 9, generally it's not so good. In this example, the OnePlus 9 just did not find me whatsoever, so I'm completely out of focus and blurred, whereas the OnePlus 9 has found me, but again, it hasn't done a great job. Now, the OnePlus 9 Pro also has a dedicated optical zoom camera, so you will get better zoom images. Here's an example at 3.3 times, and you can go up to 10 times digital zoom on the OnePlus 9, and if we compare this to the OnePlus 9 Pro, you're just getting better results, and the OnePlus 9 Pro can go all the way to 30 times digital zoom, which is terrible and I would not use it, but hey, the option is there. You can get some pretty decent results at 10x, however. Now, both devices also have a 2 megapixel monochrome camera, which is supposed to give you better black and white images. I personally don't buy it. I think it's just there for the sake of having an extra camera. I really don't think it makes that much of a difference to your images when you are shooting in black and white. So yeah, we do have some improvements for the cameras on the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro. I guess the way we'll really find out how good the cameras are is by putting them up against some of the competition. So definitely let me know down in the comments which SuperSaf style camera comparison you'd like me to do versus the OnePlus 9 Pro first, and I'll get working on that as soon as possible. Now, when it comes to video, we actually have pretty good video, and we do have 8K up to 30 frames a second. Not only do we have 8K at up to 30 frames a second, we can also shoot 8K from the primary as well as the ultra-wide camera, which is something that I've never seen before on a smartphone. I'm sure it might exist on a smartphone that I've not used, but I've personally not used a smartphone with 8K from the ultra-wide camera as well. So thumbs up for that. Very, very good and sharp quality. And the OnePlus 9 Pro does have 4K at up to 120 frames a second, which is the first time I've also seen this. The OnePlus 9 does have 4K at up to 60 frames a second. So again, another advantage that you get here on the OnePlus 9 Pro. So those are the rear-facing cameras. The situation is not so great when it comes to the front-facing cameras, because we have the same front-facing cameras on both the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro, and they're very basic. I mean, meh, they're okay. They can take some pretty decent selfies, and dynamic range is also pretty good. Portrait mode can be hit or miss, but the one area where I'm very, very disappointed when it comes to the front-facing cameras of the OnePlus 9 Pro is the fact that you've only got 1080p recording, and the quality is very, very bad. I mean, look at this example here. The background is completely blown out, and it just baffles me that OnePlus will include 8K video recording from 2 cameras on the rear on both devices, but only have 1080p from the front-facing cameras. I mean, in my opinion, that's unacceptable for a flagship in 2021, not having 4K. And it really seems like the front-facing cameras were very much an afterthought for OnePlus, because they concentrated on this whole Hasselblad partnership on the rear-facing cameras. That is just my honest opinion. Now let's talk about the speakers. So we do have stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, one in the earpiece and one bottom firing. They actually sound very, very good. I would say that the OnePlus 9 Pro is louder. And for software, we do have Android 11 with Oxygen OS. Oxygen OS, a very nice, minimal, clean skin, very smooth, very fast. And I have to say that it has been inspired by One UI from Samsung. There is a lot more here for one-handed usage, which is something that I did want. Now, internally, both of these are powered by the latest and greatest Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset. You've got either 8 or 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM with either 128 or 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 storage. So OnePlus has always been up there in terms of the specifications, and both of these have been absolutely great in terms of performance. I really can't see much of a difference. Yes, the OnePlus 9 Pro has a high touch sampling rate, but this is not something that I notice day to day. Everything that I've thrown at these, especially with Oxygen OS that is very optimized and smooth, has been absolutely fine, and it's something that I really do like, and I think it's something that a lot of people will also enjoy. Now, finally, let's talk about pricing. So the OnePlus 9 in the UK actually comes at a pretty competitive £629. It starts at $729 in the US. The OnePlus 9 Pro comes in higher compared to what the OnePlus 8 Pro came in at last year. So we're looking at £829 in the UK or $969 in the US. So in the US, we are very much going to that $1,000 price. So based on those prices, which one of these should you go for? So let's break down what you're getting with the OnePlus 9 Pro. You're getting an overall bigger display with the Quad HD Plus resolution, the LTPO technology, the higher peak brightness. You're also getting an overall better primary camera as well as that telephoto camera for optical zoom. And you are getting that official IP68 water and dust resistance rating, which in my opinion isn't that necessary considering that the OnePlus 9 is already watertight. Now with the OnePlus 9, you are getting overall better battery life as far as we can see right now. Maybe software improvements will make the OnePlus 9 Pro better, but you are also getting faster wireless charging on the OnePlus 9 Pro. And in certain regions, you're not going to get any wireless charging whatsoever on the OnePlus 9. So how much are those advantages important to you? If they are quite important to you and you can justify spending that extra £200 or $200, then the OnePlus 9 Pro will be the better option for you. But if those are not so important to you, which I think for a lot of people, they won't be that important, then I think the OnePlus 9 is a very competitive device, especially in the UK. And I can't wait to see what Samsung come out with for the S21 FE, because that's going to go head to head with the OnePlus 9. That's what I think anyway. What do you guys think? Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do smash that like button for me. And if you haven't already and you want to see lots more OnePlus coverage, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. Check out the offer from NordVPN down below. Big thanks to them. And there's going to be some videos here that YouTube thinks that you'll like, so do go ahead and check them out. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. I'll see you next time.